Hello, and welcome to the Wood and Ball Show. I am your host, Dave Ball, also known as Blinson on Reddit and at Blinson1 on Twitter. And like always, I am joined by Blake, who is known by at ShatMyKirk on Twitter and BTownBomb on Reddit. Say hi, Blake.
Hello, Dave. Hello, listeners. I hope you all are enjoying this wonderful day of sports. You got, let's see, you kicked it off with the U.S. Open for those of you that are into watching golf. For those of you that are golf fans, I know I am. So that was good. And then the World Cup kicked off. Yes, the greatest sport in the world, the most popular sport in the world, kicking off their annual, or not annual, for every, I don't know what they call that, every other 4 years, their main event there. This is the Super Bowl of soccer, and it kicked off with a very interesting game, to say the least. For those of you that were watching Croatia and the host nation, Brazil. Um, yeah, it was interesting to say the very least.
Yeah, I haven't gotten a chance to watch it. Was it a fun game? Because I know you spent your day watching it, didn't you, or something?
Yeah, yes, and it was really fun. I think the intensity was really good, but I know a lot of people had issues with the officiating in the game. Um, but other than that, I was quite pleased with Croatia's effort. They certainly didn't seem too intimidated to be playing a soccer powerhouse that is Brazil.
Okay.
I
So we
think the
started.
U.S. will play their first game Tuesday, I think it was.
Do you know who they're
Sometime
playing?
next week, I think.
Who are they playing? Do you know?
I forget.
I'll look that up right now, actually. World Cup Soccer. Soccer
I
2014.
forget who all is in their group.
Uh, Probably no one really good. Our team isn't that good, is it?
It's really interesting how.
Ghana? Is that who it is?
Oh, yes, Ghana, I believe so.
Yes.
It's really an interesting choice how Jurgen Klinsmann, the coach of the national team, why he made the decision to leave out Landon Donovan from the roster and replace him with some 18-year-old kid who's
Mm.
got a lot more speed than Donovan, certainly, but um, on one
You don't
hand,
really leave out good players. You're not
no.
supposed to, at least.
On the
Look what
one hand,
happened with Bobby Clark with Bobby Ryan and
has more World Cup goals than some of the top soccer players out there, than Lionel Messi and
mm,
Cristiano Ronaldo and Robin van Persie. He's got more goals in them in World Cup events, and Jurgen leaves him out. But on the other hand, um, Jurgen Klinsmann is the head coach. He's the one in charge, and if he
he is the
feels this is what they need to do, then I I'm okay with that.
yeah, he is the coach for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He has the job because he knows what he's talking about.
Yes. So U.S. Open, World Cup, and gonna cap it off tonight with Game 4 of the NBA Finals.
Hmm.
San Antonio took Game 3 in Miami last night. Huge offensive performance from San Antonio. They were on fire. Um,
Hmm.
and of course, the Miami Heat are probably one of the best teams in sports to win a game after losing a game. So
Hmm.
it'll be interesting how Game 4 will play out.
Who's winning in that series anyway?
It's San Antonio now. They took
Is
a,
it now?
a
Okay.
2-1 lead last night.
Okay. Look, as many people know, I don't watch much basketball, so
Yes,
I didn't know much about that yet. Oh, we're getting a lot of questions in right now.
already.
Yeah. So do you want to go into a few of them first? Because some of them here seem to be about. I guess we'll go into these first before we get
Yeah.
into our first topic.
We'll
What do you
interact with our
think of the
listeners here.
sports kick match? I'm guessing that's soccer. That sported earlier today. What do you think of the sports reffing? I guess that means what do you think of the reffing? And that was asked by Peak of Good Living.
Um, Sports did sports all over the sports. I know that.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to watch it, so I can't really answer this question. I feel like you already kind of did when we were going through the little intro thing there.
Ooh, here's a good one. What is the easiest way to piss off the most fans of hockey?
Basketball's better.
Yeah, to talk
There we go.
about basketball.
Everyone's pissed. I said basketball is better, which is completely false.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Oh,
that's
basketball better. Datsuk sucks. Lindstrom was nothing special. What else
LeBron
can I
is Jesus.
LeBron is Jesus.
It's actually kind of a way to annoy NBA fans.
See, we just pissed off two sports without even trying. There we go.
Alrighty. Yeah. Who won E3? Says Jordan.
I actually have not watched any of E3, so.
I know we have one of our co-hosts here at Our Hockey Cast, Dave.
Dave
Grohl.
Yeah.
He was at E3 today. He was testing out NHL 15, which I don't know about you all out there, but I'm actually quite excited for it.
I've bought too many of them recently. I'm not going to get another one. I still have yet to finish like 2 seasons in any of the NHL games I've ever bought. So I kind of should be doing that before I buy new games. Unless another flyer comes on the cover.
I have to say I'm a sucker for the new presentation features they're adding. They're adding Doc and Edio on the.
Yeah, that's kind of when I want to buy it because.
Oh yeah.
New, like they're upgrading all of the like arenas, they're upgrading the announcers, and I mean I love Bill Clement and everything, but it's the same word. They have the same speech since NHL 10.
Basically. I read a story on Game Informer about this, and if I can find it, I will link it to you, faithful listeners. But basically, what the lead developer said he was doing with the announcing in this game, they're just basically letting Doc and Edio just go loose. Just they're giving them a whole bunch of scenarios, like I don't know, Henrik Sedin scores top shelf from a shot from the point or something like that, and they're giving them that situation, and they're saying, okay, say what you would normally say in this situation.
So basically, Doc, make up words as much as possible is what they're saying.
Yeah, just be you.
It's gonna. The one thing I'm gonna like about it is it's just gonna be so exciting to listen to. Like he's one of the most exciting people to listen to, just because of how into it he gets during actual games. So.
And it irks me how people dislike that about him because, oh yes, because hockey is totally an emotionless sport.
Yeah.
People annoy me sometimes.
He is probably one of the best announcers they've had. I mean, the only reason I don't like listening to NBC is because 90% of the time you get the B cast usually, and the B cast just annoys me. And also, I like Pierre, but I also don't. It's kind of I'm okay with him. I can deal with him.
I guess I'm just always amazed as to how much he knows and how much he can
that's why I like
pull
him,
out in an instant.
So he's so knowledgeable. I love him for that. But he just gets so awkward at times, as everyone knows. And it's just, you have to take what it is. He's a very knowledgeable person. And I was really hoping he was going to get the GM position because I think he would do really good at the drafting portion of it. But everything else, I thought he would be bad. But yeah, I'm not too annoyed by him. He's not going to be in NHL 15 for anybody wondering about that. So you don't have to worry about him being between the benches. So. What else do we have here? No one really asked any other questions, so let's go into our first topic. So the Islanders, as everyone knows, the Islanders traded for Boyle from the Sharks and gave up a fifth round, I want to say, fourth round if he gets re-signed. And he has said he refuses to resign and is looking to be going to Toronto Maple Leafs. So, what do you think about that whole situation, Blake?
That's a fairly interesting choice. Um, I guess definitely that would put the Islanders in a pickle because now they have the contract of someone that doesn't even want to play for them. So,
He was a unrestricted free agent this year, so it's not like
oh
they're holding
yes,
a contract.
Okay, okay,
So
well,
he just walks on July 1st. But they
hmm
did give up a fifth round pick for him, which is for the Islanders. They're rebuilding. They need as many draft picks as possible, but they also need that veteran leaders, which Boyle would have been for them, and he would have helped out their defense tremendously because they have a lot. They have a youth on their defense that is probably going to be good, but they don't have that like veteran presence on their defense to kind of lead them. I know they've traded us their veteran presence, both of them.
hmm
So
hmm
yeah. So it's kind of sad for them. Even though they're in my division, I am rooting for the Islanders just because it's sad that how such a storied franchise, franchise has been around for a while now, and has won 4 cups. I think 4 cups. How they have fallen so much since those 4 cups have been won.
I'm also rooting for the Islanders because they have a former goalie of ours, and I want him to do good. Um, after what I now call the Ryan Miller experience, um, it was really fascinating and also really sad to see how far Yarrow Halak fell. Um,
I don't think he so
he's
much as fell. He was just traded a lot.
yeah,
Like he was what on 4 different teams now.
yes,
He went from you guys to the Sabres to the Capitals and then down to now he's with the Islanders where he was signed.
yes.
It's amazing how he's not a bad goaltender by any means.
He is tied, I think, for the franchise lead in shutouts.
Mm. And as many people remember him from 2010, he was one of the biggest reasons the 2010 Canadiens got to the conference finals. I mean, he ultimately shit the bed when playing against Philadelphia, but that team from Philadelphia that year was rolling, and there wasn't
And
probably much that could stop them.
and that's why I think most fans in St. Louis were uh, fairly disappointed with Halak because they wanted to see the Halak that the
Mm-hmm.
the one that he was
That team,
in the 10 playoffs, yeah. And
yeah, where he basically stole games from Pittsburgh and then Washington. Pittsburgh with the defending Stanley Cup champions, Washington being the President Trophy winners that year, and they did probably want someone who could uh, steal games like he did then.
hmm and he's still
So
good, of course, but I think with those recurring groin injuries he's had, I don't. I, it would be. I would be quite surprised if we ever see him like he was in 2010.
you never know. Goaltenders could. I mean, we've seen Steve Mason start off really good and then just fall massively. I mean, Steve Mason is younger, but he still was able to pick it up on the right team, which Halak could do.
Oh yeah.
Because he
hmm
doesn't have a very good team in front of him, he could be just like in 2010 with the Canadiens. He could just see that maybe I don't have a good team in front of me, so I got to try harder, which he may have not been doing in St. Louis because he had a very good team in front of him.
Yes.
So I believe he could turn it around, his career around easily. So, yeah, I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for him to do good, even though even though they're in the division, and I want them to do bad against us.
Yes.
because we have beaten them so many times. I wanted to continue that way. Yeah. So the next topic we have here is the Predators name Ben Vanderklok as their goaltender coach. Apparently, their old goaltender coach got fired along with it when Trotz got fired. So
And that very goaltending coach is reportedly going to Washington to once again serve under Barry Trotz.
usually, when it comes to goaltending coaches, they follow around head coaches
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because they work so well. Usually, they try to keep together because they work so well together and they understand each other. Yeah, and apparently, Vanderklok has been with them for a while. Has been a long time coach, or has been with them for a while. I think was an assistant goaltender coach. Apparently, there's assistant goaltender coach. I
Hmm.
didn't know those existed.
Yeah.
But he's with the Predators for the past 5 seasons, and has worked with almost every single goaltender in their organization. So, and I don't get why he would fire the goaltender coach when he helped Pekka Rinne be the goaltender that he is, because their old goaltender coach, he was with them for 16 years. So Pekka Rinne is basically his, like, he helped shape him into what he like elite goaltender that he is. So I don't know why you would just get rid of a goaltender coach who worked with a goalie for that long, as he has worked with Pekka Rinne.
But I guess considering this new coach's resume, um, I don't think there would have been a better coach to name the new goaltending coach.
Mm, yeah,
He was right there behind the scenes while what's his face was training Pekka Rinne.
yeah, that's true. He was only with them for 5 seasons. How long has Pekka Rinne been with their organization? How long has he been there? Uh, he was drafted in 2004, so his
Oh,
first year was 2006. So he started his no, sorry, first year was 2007. So he started his career before this person was hired by Nashville. So he's only seen him for the past 5 seasons, which, yeah, it's a good long time, but I guess actually 4 seasons because Pekka Rinne wasn't really there last season.
mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll see what happens. And, I know Lavi's system isn't that great for goaltenders per se, so hopefully Pekka Rinne can keep up to standards with this new goaltending coach and with Lavi's not goaltender friendly system.
Yes.
Though Laviolette did do very well when he had Ilya Brizgalov and Michael Leighton as his goaltenders. So we'll see what happens, I guess. I don't think anything else has happened really in the NHL. Can you think of anything?
No,
No.
I don't think any. I don't know of anything else either.
I believe someone was named to like somewhere in something happened in Pittsburgh. Like someone was named a what was it?
Oh yes, uh, Pittsburgh named a new general manager, and Dan Bilesma was fired. Um, I would
It was
imagine.
assistant general manager, right?
I do not remember. I would imagine
They
other podcasts talked about this, but I know this one in particular have not.
I believe they hired a new assistant general manager or something today. Uh, I believe. Hmm. Yeah, it's Bill Guarin is the new assistant
Oh,
GM.
Billy G. Alrighty. I knew I saw his
That was
name
done
on
today.
Twitter earlier today.
And Peter Carmanos was named as assistant general manager of hockey operations or assistant president of hockey operations. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Vice president of hockey operations is what it is called. Because I can speak today. I'm very good at that.
Mm.
But yeah, Jason Carmenaris was named to that. Uh, Apparently, he was invited to the training camp in 1996, and this is where he is now. He was with Hurricanes for 15 seasons, so he probably came over when their new GM. Who is their GM now? Oh, I am so blanking right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, when their new GM came over, he probably brought him along. Okay, so I guess that was everything. I know Nando just tweeted us something. I'm not quite sure what it means. A bunch of numbers. Oh, there's a few people from the Islanders that also, or not the Islanders. Some teams said they're not going to be resigning. Who was that said they weren't going to be resigning? I don't remember. So guess it's not that important.
Hmm.
I can't find it. Really looking very quickly. But I guess we'll go into our next topic.
The next topic,
Yesterday's game, because
yes,
we don't know anything about the Calder Cup.
no,
Besides, I think the series is 2-1 in the Stars' favor. We were supposed to have Amber on here, but she was having technical difficulties, so we couldn't get her on here. And we don't know much about the Calder Cup, as I said, so we'll just kind of skip that. And yesterday's game was a 2-1 win by the Rangers. And I think, as everyone knows, the number one star in that game was the snow fort that happened at the end of the game.
I hear from our resident goaltender, Jordan. I hear that a lot of goalies will pack some snow in their crease on the red line behind there.
Oh, we didn't talk about Jason Spezza and his leaving.
Well, yeah, I suppose we'll
Jason Spezza might be leaving, everybody.
backtrack to that real quick.
Nando has been linking me many things.
No. In one of the more popular places, as of right now at least, as far as I know, there might be a few others. St. Louis, I know there's been some discussion on perhaps getting Spezza over to St. Louis, which would be just a bit of a gamble because Spezza is somewhat old.
Is he a center? Spezza?
I believe so. Mm-hmm.
I'll look that up right now. But if he is, he could be your second line center that you guys desperately need.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a center according to Daily Faceoff, so. And he could be the goaltender you guys need on your team.
I think we're good with goaltenders now.
Yeah. You have Elliott and Allen, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not that bad of a goaltending duo. Elliott can be streaky, but when he's on.
Oh, yes. Last season's month of April, excluding the playoffs, of course, which weren't really his fault, I have to mention. But
yeah. So we'll see what happens there. Hopefully, I just wonder how the Sens fans are going to take it when he actually leaves, because he seems to be requesting a trade because of how he feels he's being treated as their captain, and how he feels like he's being blamed for everything that's gone wrong this year. So.
Alrighty, but back to the matter at hand, the Stanley Cup Final. The Rangers, as Dave mentioned, did take Game 4, 2-1.
Very luckily for them, even though it was a very lucky win by them. My biggest problem with this whole series is how the Kings are relying on their third period comeback. As a fan of a team that loves a third period comeback, you cannot always count on it, and they should just stop relying on that third period. I mean, they have a ridiculous goal differential in the third period, and I think they were out shooting the Rangers like 9-0 by the halfway through the period. It's ridiculous how good of a third period team they are, but it's not something you can constantly rely on.
That's that brings up an interesting topic with the Rangers too. I mean, I know a lot of people joke around and say that the Rangers are trying their hardest to not go up by 2 goals,
Mm,
but you know, I think in that game especially, um, looking at how the Rangers were playing that third period, you just had to wonder if that's what they were actually doing,
hmm
if they were playing super defensively.
Let's not screw up that. I mean, looking at the shot differential, they were outshot 15-1 in that third period.
Hmm.
That's crazy. One shot in an entire period? That is not how you win a Stanley Cup. It might help you win a game, but that's all you're probably going to win if you take one shot during the final period. Because that's kind of just showing that you're stuck in your zone for the entire third period, which they basically were. That's the biggest reason the snow built up in that crease was because Lundqvist couldn't really clear much of it away when he usually as they usually do during when the puck's on the other side.
Hmm.
And the Rangers need to do better, in all honesty. They have not been the better team. They have not been the better, as I just said, the better team. I don't know why I'm repeating. But they're not doing good. They're not playing up to the standard that they need to be playing for a Stanley Cup final team.
No, but
I mean, you have Henrik Lundqvist in goal. How could you be only? How could you not be trying to get him the cup? It does not seem like they're trying. They're not trying to get him the cup. They're not trying to get Marty the cup. They're just seem so out of it because they're just not used to the big show. It seems for some reason.
I I still cannot think of a logical explanation. Looking at all the stats and comparing all the stats, I still can't think of a good explanation as to why the Rangers are playing the way they are. Um, I think maybe you could say it's because their big four, the Richards and Nash and St. Louis and Stepan. I think you could say, and it would probably be the best explanation. You could probably see it's because they're not playing up to the skill level that they can play, but they that that's basically how they have been um, this whole playoff run.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe give or take the first round, but
No, they didn't. At least Richards and Nash didn't really do shit in the first round.
mhm.
So
So with the exception of that, with the slight exception of that, I just simply can't think of an explanation as to why the Rangers are not playing up to the level that they can play.
I think
Um,
mostly it has to come down to Rick Nash. He's being paid $7.8 million a year, and he's doing diddly shit in this playoffs. He has scored what, 2 goals maybe? And he was our leading scorer in the regular season. Where has he gone? Is he just not used to the big stage or something? Like he is he is single-handedly, I think, the reason that this team isn't doing as well. Because they relied on him during the season when he was doing good, and then now here he is where he's sucking and they can't win. Anyway, you
uh,
were saying something before I interrupted with a rant.
well, actually, I believe that was the end of my one point there. I, I do think Lundqvist played really well
He's been their best
in
player
that
this
game.
entire
Oh,
series.
yeah. Um, well, I do think one of the minor issues, I guess, is it seems to me they're relying too much on Lundqvist and not on their offense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they're not even giving their offense a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're not. Uh, I mean, you would kind of understand why they wouldn't because of the lack of play from their
Oh crap!
top four guys. But if they're not even giving them a chance, then there would most definitely be no way that they would up their game.
Oh wow, I did not even realize we had the Q&A. The Q&A on the side, I forgot to have it open. And wow,
Mm-hmm.
we have questions on the sidebar.
Alrighty. Um, well, I guess we can.
We'll hop
Uh,
on that for a second before going back to our point. Because some of these questions we should have already hit a while ago. So the first question from Nando is, why do you think the Islanders hit the slump in the slump that they're in the first place? Uh, I'm not quite sure why they hit it because it happened back in like right after they won their cups. They kind of started to hit a slump there. It seems.
yep.
I wonder who they traded away because it always comes down to who you trade away.
I guess
Yeah.
maybe their recent slump. He means. I do know. They did make the playoffs last season,
In a short
but
season.
but still, playoffs are playoffs.
Yeah. It's mainly because the reason they're in their slump is because of their owner. I feel their owner is too budget crazy. Garth Snow cannot build a team the way he wants, and he has to rely on waiver pickups to build a team. That is not how you build a team. You do not just hope you pick them up on waivers and they just want to play for you guys. Because there has been 2 players already that have sat out an entire year and they didn't want to play for the Islanders because they didn't want to play for the Islanders. I mean,
I also
Nabokov
think
eventually came back to play, but he was basically way past his prime. Anyway, you're saying?
he's relying entirely too much on draft picks too. I mean, trading for some draft picks here and there is okay, but when you're trading away some of your experience to go along with it, I don't. That's just too much,
They don't have as in trading away people for draft picks and all that. They don't have veteran presence on their team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who is their oldest player now? He can't be that old. Whoever their oldest player is, they traded away so many of their, veterans that could help lead this team. It's some defenseman whose name I can't even pronounce. Radek Martinek. Him and Eric Bolton are their oldest people, and then the next one is 33, and the rest of their team is basically 30 and under. So they don't have any of those true veteran presences to help build a team around, which I think is their biggest problem. Well, not build their team around, but help lead them through times of trouble. And we'll see what happens really with them. And the other question was, how old is Halak? And he is 29 years old.
Yes.
There you go. Okay. Q&A is all filled out. I was all done. Hope you're happy, Nando.
Alrighty.
Okay, now back to the other things we were talking about.
Well, I guess we could pose this question to the viewers, since I know I'm unsure of this, but we'll see what the not viewers, listeners will have to say about it. You can use the hashtag AskOHC, but I guess it doesn't really matter that much. Oh gosh, and I just completely forgot what the question I was going to ask was.
It took you too long to build up to it. Damn it, Blake.
The question to the listeners is, what do you think the Rangers will need to do? That's the question right there.
Easy to type this time.
To have a chance to, and you don't have to type this part.
Sweep.
To reverse sweep essentially.
Well, not essentially. That's what they have to do.
Oh yeah.
Entirely. So, yeah, that's one that they definitely need to. Rick Nash needs to find the Rick Nash that we saw in Columbus, where he was able to put a team on his back. and be the only reason they were had any shred of, yeah, they could be a okay team maybe. That Rick Nash needs to find the reason he's getting paid $7.8 million. And I doubt he is going to do it in this playoffs, at least, personally.
Yeah.
I don't think he is ready for the big stage that he is in New York. We already kind of feel that Brad Richards is probably going to be bought out, so he isn't living up to what he was back when he was on, on Tampa, or even when he was on the Stars. He's basically a
Yes.
shell of his former self.
Yes, and remember
And
the loser of this series will have to buy out their Richards.
the Kings already said they're probably not going to buy out Mike Richards. I mean, this is his first season doing not good. So you can't really buy someone out after one season
Yeah.
doing bad. Unlike Brad Richards, who has not been up to whatever they're paying him now, which I don't even remember what they're paying him now.
And we have a answer to our question that we posed just a minute ago or so. The answer from Chris Abraham at Crazy Knucklehead. He says, have the goalies play to their current status. I guess status is what he meant. Maybe he meant stats. I don't know. AKA Lundqvist stops everything, Quick doesn't. Well, and I guess that's also our segue into focusing more on the Kings and what they will need to do to avoid the reverse sweep.
Score 10 goals and not the third period.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the only thing I got.
Well, and it's a really it's basically the elephant in the room that no one's talking about because the Kings are still winning games, but that elephant in the room is their not so great offense in the first two periods. That is definitely something that's going to need to be fixed upon. I know they greatly improved on their disastrous Game 1 start.
I mean, Game 3 saw them score the first 2 goals in the first period, I think. So it's not like they can't score goals in the first period. They can. They just for some reason seem to choose not to.
And it's also interesting too. One name that I'm not hearing a whole lot of in this series, Anze Kopitar.
Yeah, I can't really. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I'm not noticing him
showing up.
Yes.
I mean, he might be producing points with Gaborik, isn't he still?
I mean, oh yeah, he's still.
But he's not playing up to the elite centerness that he is expected to be.
No. He has been through most of these playoffs, yes, but this is definitely the point where they'll really need him
to be the Anze Kopitar that we all know and love.
Yeah, and the workload is going to be a lot less easy on him, or a lot more easy on him, because he's only going to need to play like that for just one more game. All they're asking for is
hopefully one more game.
Hopefully one more game. Yes, all they're asking for from him is 110% effort, just for one game, hopefully.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, and here's hoping they can close it the hell out.
So
I want the Kings to win, as everyone knows. Everyone knows my storied thoughts about the Rangers. But who are you hoping to win, Blake?
Well, I will tell you my biggest hope is that this goes to 6 or 7 games. As
why would you do that?
Because this is a fun series, and I think it deserves would be the word. hockey fans would deserve to see this one go 6 or 7, definitely.
It's because you don't have a bet riding on this series, isn't that? That's why, isn't it?
Well, that too, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly the reason. I think we just got another follow-up.
Put the puck in the net more times than the Kings by the end of the third period. Do this for the next 3 games. That's
Thank you,
from
Hunter.
Hunter.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
You gotta love the smart aleck people when they give these answers.
AKA Magic
would
Johnson. Yes.
That would be one of your answers, Blake.
Well,
You're that type of person.
I suppose.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have anything else you need to talk about? We're only about 40 minutes in right now, and we went through the entire list.
I guess we could pose another question to listeners and see what they think about what the Kings are going to have to do to close this one out. I could imagine that the popular answer would be to just keep playing the way they have been, but the way they have been is basically just being a 20-25 minute team.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
which you cannot be in the Stanley Cup.
No. And B,
minutes or more if it requires.
Yeah. And B, they didn't play too well in Game 4, as you can see, because we're back in LA for a Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
So
they basically need to rely on that third period, as they have been, because third period comebacks are not that hard, not that like easy to come by. It takes a lot of work and a lot of effort, and I mean, the Kings could do it, as we saw last night. They almost did it again and tied it up with a few minutes left, but they are relying on it too much.
Mm-hmm.
As I've already said many times in this podcast, like, it is not something you can constantly rely on. It only happened 11 times in the season for the Flyers, and they were referred to as the comeback kids because of it. And most of the games they lost because they couldn't. Mainly because they just couldn't mount that third period comeback that they were just so used to doing. And we got an answer to the Kings, what the Kings need to do to close out everything. And it was El Rizzi. He said 1 win. That's what the Kings will need to do to close everything out. They need to 1 win.
And this has got to be a rallying cry for them. Just 1 win, guys. 1 win. Let's go.
We can do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that hard. Win it for Gaborik. We all know Gaborik wants a cup. He hasn't won one. Give it to Gaborik. Let him rub it in his former team's face.
Yes, as we all know, no matter who wins the Stanley Cup final this year, the Columbus Blue Jackets lose.
Yeah. And so do kind of the Flyers.
Yeah.
Because, Carter Richards are constantly being talked about now because they're winning in LA. Because the beat writers in Philadelphia have no clue what the hell they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Dan Carcillo that they, for some reason, don't forget about. And they keep talking about him in the Rangers. Yeah. And Nando has answered the question too. Do what the Sharks didn't do. Which I would basically think that as win.
Yeah, just win from this point.
That's what I had to do. They've did it 3 times. Why not 1 more?
Jordan says score more goals than the Rangers. I tell you, Dave, we have some pure Nostradamus people that listen to this podcast.
They should be on the NBC Sportsnet and talking about this. They could totally. They're all very good at talking hockey. They should definitely be on Sportsnet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
They're basically doing a much better job than Milbury.
They don't get as angry as Milbury does, which is the only reason I'm pretty sure he's on the show.
For that edge, that's what they look for. They look for edginess.
And that's why they put him with Roenick on the same panel every once in a while, just so you can see what the two of them can do together.
Yeah.
Just because they are hilarious when you watch them argue with Liam, I think his name is, just kind of stuck in the middle and not knowing what to do.
Liam's having to be the one that that keeps things in check.
Mm-hmm.
It's really awkward and highly entertaining.
Yeah, I enjoy it so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, have any final thoughts, Blake?
Enjoy the sports. Enjoy the World Cup. Enjoy the rest of the NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup Final. Again, hopefully this goes to 6 or 7 games. Sorry, Dave,
No, have it end in 5.
but it would be a real treat for hockey fans, of course. Just imagine a Game 7 overtime.
No, I'm good.
Game 7 overtime.
Lundqvist doesn't lose in Game 7s. I'd rather not have to test that.
Although Justin Williams doesn't lose Game 7s as well, so
Neither does Jeff Carter, neither does Mike Richards.
Who would lose that
Neither
one?
does Brad Richards.
Yeah.
So you never know.
So that might go to 8 overtimes or something.
I can't stay up that late.
Oh, I can totally stay up that late.
Not allowed. They have to end it in 5.
So much coffee.
End it in 5.
I'm ready for 8 overtimes.
The Flyers need to keep the record of most overtimes.
Oh.
Only the Flyers and Penguins need to keep that record. The only thing we have in common.
I mean, you're in the same state. There's that.
We're not. We don't. They're not in our state. We removed them a while ago.
Yeah.
No one's from Pittsburgh's allowed in Pennsylvania. Psh. We're the important city. We did everything in this city. They kind of just grabbed on.
And for the country too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. People think that Pittsburgh's important. No, Philly's more important. Pittsburgh has done nothing except for pollute. That's all they've done. I'm gonna be yelled at for that, aren't I?
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
Okay, and we got another answer actually to what the Kings need to do to close everything out. Figure out who's doing the voodoo that saved the Rangers last game and stop them. Yeah. Voodoo charms. Gotta stop it. Yeah. So now, any final thoughts, Blake?
Go sports.
Yes, go sports. Okay, so this has been the Wooden Ball Show. I'm on our HockeyCast. I'm your host, Dave Ball, also known as Blinson on Reddit and at Blinson1 on Twitter. And he has been Blake Wood, also known as B-Town Bomb on Reddit or at ShattenMyKirk on Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter at our HockeyCast. You can go to our website, which is ourhockeycast.com, or you can go to our subreddit, which is r/rhockeycast, with the second R being OUR. Still very confusing to say, but I'm trying. So have a good night, everybody.
Alrighty, go sports.